All right there, duders and dudetters. Here we go. Finally. The part 3 going on here. All right, I don't like doing the part 1s and 2s and all the mess. So it's just, I got to do extra to keep up with the thing and remember, oh yeah, I got to do this other thing. Anyway, after I leave this time, she's done. All right, working beautifully, perfect, purring like a kitten. Instead of dying cat noises, making the purring cat noise, all right? Anywho, getting this last one in here. I'm going to be out for about a week, maybe 10 days or so or something. I'm getting married, people. 2 days. Gonna be live right here on the tube. If hey, come watch if you want. I don't, up to you. I'm not gonna know. All right, I'm gonna be up there in the deal, making the vow things going on. I'm not gonna know you're there or not. So, unless you want to put a comment in there about it, great. Saturday, November 2nd, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Otherwise, enjoy this video, and thank goodness this unit's finally done. Until next time, people, see y'all. Here we are. Loaded everything up for this condenser fan motor. Part 3, and hopefully part last of this dang carrier unit. Hopefully I'll load everything up. I don't want to have to go back down for anything. So, use my Home Depot bucket. No, they ain't paying me. Ain't nobody paying me. Brought an extra jacket. Should have brought some gloves, but it's just now starting to get cold around here. We got some warm days ahead of us still. Cold ain't permanent, it's just hitting us overnight and early in the morning. Hip-shaw! Alright, so part 3, condenser fan motor. I decided to go ahead and break this up. I didn't want like a 700-hour long video. So, part 1, be diagnosis. When, if you'll watch part 1, somebody already diagnosed it, they just didn't tell me. Part 2 is going to be compressor replacement, because the compressor was grounded. Did that one. I don't know when you're watching this or when I'm posting these. Basically, people, I'm gonna post them when I have time. I'm busy. It's like the software and all the mumbo jumbo takes time. Sit in front of the computer, do some edits or whatever. So these are not going to be posted like immediately a 1, 2, 3. Ain't got time for that. Once I post one, it takes like 6 hours to upload. So, whatever, it is what it is. So anyway, I brought an extra jacket, not because it's cold, but I brought it to cover this coil up. Whenever you're working in this season, it's really difficult because if you don't pick the right time of day to work on an AC unit,
it's going to be harder to diagnose anything. Now, diagnosing a grounded compressor, yeah, you can do that if it's 40 degrees outside or 100 degrees outside. But once you get everything up and running, typically there's a reason. All right, there's a reason that compressor took a crap on you, and that's what we got to do, is find out why. And sometimes they just hold and they just take a crap, and that's okay. Well, this one, once I replaced it, she started sounding like a dying cat. If you watched my last video, I didn't get it on video. All right, I put it on my dang work phone video, but I didn't put it on this video because I needed, like, I knew I didn't have much time before it was completely toast, and I had to get proof that the fan motor took the crap, so I don't look like I'm sitting here trying to be dishonest. I don't like dishonesty, and I don't like people thinking that I'm dishonest. So I needed to make sure that they're like, oh, now you need this, you just want more money. No, I don't. I just really want to be done with this job is what I want. So here we are. Anyway, condenser fan motor, universal, 460 volt, single phase, 2082, I'm sorry, 460 volt single phase. This is a quarter horse. I'm going with a third horse, okay? But why are you doing that? Well, I'm doing that because typically when you replace, if I was going OEM, it'd be definitely be going with a quarter horse, but I'm not going OEM. And for me, my practice, you do how you want to do, all right? But my practice is that if I'm using a universal, I always go up a size on horsepower. Now, you're not going to affect anything negatively by doing that. Now, if I were to go way up, like that's a quarter horse, and I put a 1 horse, all right, we got problems. You know, that's the wrong answer. But the amp draw between a quarter and a third is so minuscule, it's not going to make a difference on this unit and how it runs. It's going to give that little added horsepower for what might be dropped because it's a universal. But like I said, you do you. However you want to do it. If you want to put a quarter horse in there, you're not wrong. You want to put an 8th horse in there, you're wrong. But okay. So basically I'm going to be disconnecting this thing. What I like to do is I like to cut the wires back there and then decide whether I'm going to splice them or if I'm going to be able to run them all the way. And I do that because sometimes these universals don't have wire length necessary to run them all the way, and it's not wrong to put some wire nuts on the dang thing and make it work. But I like to cut them with length, and then you can decide later on. Now, you take the whole thing out, and then you put the new one in, you can't reach, and then you're sitting there, you're doing the same thing you would have done, but you're taking more time. And I'm an idiot, because I didn't bring dad burn wire cutters. I brought nothing to cut wires with. I'll be right back. 40 rungs. There's 40 rungs on that ladder, okay? Getting the good little workout in. I'll be right back. Got me some strippers. I didn't get the dikes, I got the strippers. I'll pull some length out of here. Cut these with length. And we have our condenser fan motor free. Now, I was smart enough, which, well, doesn't happen very often, but I was smart enough to juice this thing up before I left yesterday with some penetrates. And Hopefully it juiced it up enough where I'm not going to need my puller, but I brought the puller just in case. But I don't think I'm going to need it. It's greased up pretty good. Gonna get this sanded down because you're gonna have to come over this part of the shaft with your blade. So if you have a chance to pre-plan these things, pre-plan it. Do your thing. Try to find my dang gloves. Haven't needed them all season. I'm not typically a glove wearing guy. I like to feel things, and quite honestly, because I don't wear gloves, I can't feel much. The fingers just, they got all calloused up, and feeling in the hands don't happen very well anymore. And that's all right. That's all right. So it only kind of sucks whenever I'm trying to feel something that's hot or cold. Got to leave the hand on there for a hot minute, and if it's hot, well, a hot minute's a little too long. Let's see if we can get this thing off. Hip, hip. I think I'm gonna need the puller. She's not even kind of budging. There's not much space in there. Oh, it budged. Eureka. Got her off. Put that over there. And now we'll remove the motor. Take this little wire protector thing off here. We'll put that back on the new one. We got a 3-wire configuration here. Your new motors usually come with 2 different options, a 3 or a 4-wire configuration. You can choose to do it however you want. This one might be too big to fit in there. Oh, geez, I should have greased these up too. But the good thing is these don't matter. I can break them off because your new one's going to have new nuts and screws. Yeah, it's coming off. Well, at least one of them is. We'll see if the other one's like me. All right, we got that off. You gotta remember, there's only 4 screws that hold this fan cover on. So you need to make sure that whenever you put your new motor on, it's configured so that the electrical can go that way. And there's our piece of junk. Now here is where we're gonna run into a little bit of an issue, but not huge, okay? See, the bodies of these are different depths. So we're gonna have to pull that fan blade as close to here as humanly possible. In order to do that, we're gonna have to cut these bolts off. Easy to do because they're thin and they're cheap. So let's go ahead and mount the new one onto the bracket. Actually, let's go ahead and cut those bolts off first. Let's do that. Let's do that one. That's how that's going to sit. So we take our wire cutters, and you could do wire cutters, you can even use needle nose. That's fine. I could use these. All you're going to do is grab it and go back and forth on it until it comes off. Otherwise your fan's going to be hitting these. We don't want that to happen. So grab it with this. It's that easy. You're not hurting anything by doing this. We're not going to make it fall apart. None of the bad stuff's going to happen. All we're doing is reducing the length on these so our fan blade doesn't hit it whenever it's spinning like fury. You can also use your wire cutters. And these little holes right here, you can stick the, I already threw them all on the ground. You stick the thing in there and close them, and it'll pull those off. I don't like using my wire cutters like that. Hey, you do you. However you want to do it. So, I'm gonna go ahead and put the blade on. Am I gonna put the blade on? I don't know if I'm gonna put the blade on yet. Am I gonna put the blade on? Not yet. Let's put this on the bracket first. So I gotta take these screws off the back side. Notice I'm not worried about wiring yet because we're going to worry about that last. Okay. These are long-winded. I'll fast forward this too. All right, one thing to don't forget is to remove the plug, the water plug. So there's a plug right here, and there's one on this side. Depends on which direction this is going to be sitting. If it's sitting like this, you'll pull this plug. If it's sitting like it's going to be like this, you'll pull the plug on the bottom, and that's for water. If water gets in there, it can drain out. Plug goes right about there. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and mount it on the bracket. So it is going to go like electrical this way. So we're going to go like this. And one thing to remember when you're mounting this onto the bracket is, hey people, you got a ground wire. Hook the ground wire up right here, you know? Just go ahead and get that thing out of the way, because then it's gonna be hanging there when you're done. You're gonna be like, oh, I don't know where to put this crap. Put it on your fan guard. Nothing wrong with that. You're gonna be all right, I promise. You're gonna be all right. As long as you get it scraped down with a little screwdriver or something. So that it will actually make a ground, because that's what we want to do, right? That's why I left one hanging right now. Got me a flathead here. We're going to scrape the surface of this so we can make sure we have a ground. A little bit of rust on there from the years. And you don't have to get it perfectly and perfect shiny and all that stuff. It just needs to be able to make contact. Now, if your fan guard is plastic, you're obviously going to want to go to one of these outer holes, which we could do right now too. Sometimes I do that if it reaches and it makes sense, because key is you don't want your ground to get stuck in the dang fan blade, so it needs to be out of the way. Where is the dadgum ground? There it is. So this ground actually will reach perfectly to the outside. So we're going to put the ground out here. It's a perfect reach. It's a great stretch. There's nothing that is going to cause that to hit the fan blade, so that's where that one's going. I'll go ahead and put this last screw on. We'll get them tightened down. These are probably metrics as well. Let's see. 5/16 is just barely too small, so that means it is definitely a metric. And we'll fast forward this one. Alright, that's good. Let's put the blade on now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mark, because I'm going to forget. Because I do that. Alright, your boy forgets. Get my dang Sharpie out of my dang pocket. That way I know that one goes there. The rest of them will fall into place. Alright, fan blade. Rip shaft is about 8 feet long. Okay, that's all right. Just gonna be hanging down the condenser anyway. So this shaft has 2 flat sides, so it's universal. You can use 1 set screw, you can use 2 set screws. Obviously we have 1, we're going to use 1, and we're going to put it as close as humanly possible to the motor without it hitting the motor, which that is literally as far down as it'll go. So let's roll with that. There's not going to be any adjustments, promise you that, because there ain't no room for it. Tighten down the set screw. Look, you don't need to put He-Man strength into this, okay? It needs to make contact, it needs to be snug. Once it's snug, give it a little, you know, boop. Not enough to, like, force a fart, but enough to, you know, get her nice and tight. Now, let's look at our wiring. Like I said before, some of them have 3 wires, some have 4 wires, some have both configurations. This configuration is going to allow me for a 3-line or a 4-line circuit. I like 3. Why? Because it's less. All right, it's easier. It's less. I like less. Less is better. Less is not more. Now, some of you people, I know you people. All right, some technicians out there will they'll use the 4-line circuit. They'll put their capacitor on the capacitor wires and freaking zip tie it to the dang fan guard. All right, I think you're wrong. Does it work? Sure, but it's right there next to the fan. You lose a zip tie, you lose your capacitor, explosions happen, bad stuff, all the things. If it rains too much, you get too much water in that capacitor, it blows, fire, bad things happen, all the bad things. Or you can just run it where your capacitor is already over in the deal. I know, Mom gonna be like, well, that's too much work. I gotta run the wires all the way, man. Look, that's why I did this, okay? We can make these connections right here and then go on that side and replace the capacitor as is. That's the same thing, people. That's actually easier than using all your dang electrical tape and whatnot on the deal when you don't have to. So that means, yes, we can cut some length off of these because we don't need this long if that's the way I wanted to do it. So let's see, 3-line circuit. Boom, boom, boom. Brown, white gets insulated. brown goes to your capacitor over yonder. White and black are both line voltage. So I know that my, I don't know. Let's see which one's our line voltage. I know black is, but I got yellow and brown. I'm pretty sure yellow is my line voltage. Yellow is my line voltage, because that is going to be this wire right here, which goes onto the top of the capacitor. Now, why are you saying, Matthew, that's not line voltage? That's on the capacitor. That is line voltage, because this is on the common side of the capacitor, okay? So the common side of the capacitor gets one leg of power from the contactor. Boom. If you do it like this, you ain't gonna mess up the deal where you're putting one leg of power and you're not putting the other leg of power. You need both legs of power, right? So we do it in this fashion so that you got less chance to screw up. I know, I'm the king of that. King, I say. Let's put our protector on here and fish it all the way up, and then we'll work on our connections, see if there's a way we can get in there a little more easier, maybe through this compressor side. I don't know. Either way, wires are going to be hiding back there. This is not proving to be extremely simple. That's okay. Just because those capacitor wires have that sideways dang fitting on them. I might need to even fast forward this one. All right, finally. And I'm going to be covering up my wiring diagram, but I'm not worried about it because, people, there's a wiring diagram on the motor too. Oh, I don't know why they put them in both places. In fact, this will be easier if I just cut this thing off, but maybe I'll do that. There, wiring diagram, deleted. Float away. All right. Wire protector, check. All right, the next thing is we want to make sure we check rotation. All right, we know that this is going to be rotating like this, and how can you tell? Because of the way it is. Look at the blade. It's made to cup air. It's not made to go like that because it's not cupping any air. It's not going to move anything. Think about airflow. Air is going to get caught in here and blow that way, so it's going that way. So we are going to be going counterclockwise shaft end. Counterclockwise shaft end. You see what this says? This says lead end. So lead end means from the other side. So if it's counterclockwise shaft end, then lead end is going to be clockwise. Okay. And this says clockwise, lead end, black, white, white, black. And that's these wires right here. Right now, they are set backwards. So all we're going to do is take this plug, flip it, and plug it back in. So now our rotation is correct. We are going to take a zip tie at the end of this and make sure to zip tie that to the top. I'm going to go ahead and feed these wires in. Am I going to feed these wires in? Sure, why not? We're going to have to go ahead and take them all the way back. Let's do it like that instead of splicing right here. And really, I'm making the decision because I don't think I can reach anywhere in here to be able to grab those wires and pull them through. So yeah, we're gonna do it like that. Okay, a little bit of electronical tape. We're gonna tape the ends of one wire onto the other wires, and we're just gonna pull them right on through. Okay, and from there you can trace what goes to what. This thing's a little bit worn out anyway. Got the green today. Why? No particular reason. It's what I saw first, so it's what I grabbed first, and it's what came out first, and it's just the way it is. Okay, it's just the one I looked at. I didn't bring my whole tool bag up because we got 40 rungs over there. Okay, bringing a tool bag up a cage ladder is already hard enough as it is, but when it's caged with that many rungs, there's a lot of breaks in between. One of my subscribers actually gave me a great hack on that. Whenever you're in a climbing up a cage ladder, front load your backpack. I guess it becomes a front pack then, doesn't it? If you front load it, it's a lot easier because you're not sitting there having to hug the ladder. You can actually lean back and use your arms the way you're supposed to use your arms. And it makes the climb a lot easier, unless it's 40 rungs. Then it don't matter what you do, it's going to be a hard climb. All right, yes up, whoops. All right, try to do this without bending your blade. You got to feed this in as you're coming down. Try and get your protector into the hole. Protector, hole. We're in. Are we in? We're in backwards? Where's my line? I drew a line there. We're in the right spot. Okay. So now I can technically go ahead and screw this down, but I don't want to yet. First of all, got to remember my ground. Secondly, what if I got to reach in there and untangle some crap? I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna have to do that or not. So Let's go under here. This is under here. Yep. Here's where I'm at. Pull. Pull. Gotta get through that. I know, you can't see it, but guess what? I can't see it either. All I know is we're stuck on a deal, probably where my tape is. The hole is definitely big enough. I just gotta get it fed. We're almost there. I can feel it. I can't see it, but I can feel it. Oh, something came out. That's okay. I don't know what it was. We're getting there. We're getting there. Progress, momentum, progress, deleted. There's no way that's all the wire. See, that's why I left the thing undone. So I knew we was gonna have to go back over here and fish some wire in that dang hole. It was just in a bad spot. Carrier did not, they were not nice to us, okay? I can't even feel the hole from this side. They're coming. See? They're coming. The tape spot has already made it past. I just have to get the rest of it through. There's more. Do we have any more? Yep, there's more. Do we have any more? I think we've reached the end. Okay. So here we go. Oh, that thing came out. All that is to hold the wires up to the top, which I'm not concerned about at all. We are going to need some extra wire, because if this is the full length, it is not going to be long enough to reach. So we do our splicing on this side. I'm going to reach in here and make sure that it's all fed in. And yes, some of it's probably going to pull out when I do this. But I just want to make sure it's taut, not tight. Okay. Taut. It is good. There's not going to be any issues there. I can go ahead and mount this thing now. Ready to go. Where are my screws? There they are. This one's gonna be my hardest one because I got to get my ground in there, and it is a tight ground, just the way I like it. Boom. Okay, complete this part, done. Let's move on. Now, we got our wires this far. We are going to do the 3-wire configuration. If you wanted to do the 4-wire, literally all you got to do is hook 2 wires onto your capacitor, and then with no common. The common will run through the motor, and then you're going to hook your 2 lines of power onto the top of the contactor, or onto the load side of the contactor. So we are going to be doing some splicing. Hopefully I got enough wire nuts in my pocket. I don't want to go down the 40 rungs of madness again. Come on, green. There we go. So we're going to make this junction right here because I'm already pulling this pretty tight. And then, well, can I? Maybe I can make it up in the thing. Can I make it up in the thing? I would like to be in this electrical compartment with these wires. I would like to be. Not that it's going to happen, but I would like for it to happen. Can I make room for them? I think we might be able to do it, okay? It's like, yep. Come on. The hardest one's getting that capacitor wire through. There's the one I'm not going to use. I didn't even have to bring that up here. My 2 power wires are coming through. Line 1, line 2. Line 1, line 2. Coming through. Now, the reason I would like to use it up here is because I would like to put this at a place where it's not going to allow for slack to come out the other side. This one's becoming increasingly difficult. Hip. Hip. Come on. This is typically not this difficult. All these wires are all in the flipping way. In the way. Come on. Get up. Get up. Just. You know what we're going to do? What I should have done a long time ago is cut that end off. Where's my dang... There they are. This end is making it tough. There it goes. That's all I had to do to begin with. Alright, now they're all sitting here. This one, I'm going to cut that off anyway, so we're not going to be using it. And let's hope that I got some nuts in my pocket. I usually carry wire nuts in my pocket. Big blues aren't going to work here. We can use the orange. I've got 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to need 4. I got a little blue. That one will actually work because it's only going to cap off the other wire, but I got another orange here, so it doesn't matter. Sweet. Why do I have 3 big blues in my pocket? I don't know. Don't know. They do take up a lot of space though. All right, so this one is our brown, white. Cap her off. Cap her off, tape her up. We're not going to be using it. These are extremely insulated. Where's my electronical tape? Yep. So it is a tidbit cool outside today. And I say that to say, am I going to turn this on? Sure. Of course I'm going to turn it on. I got to make sure it runs. Got to make sure it runs the right way. I did bring an extra jacket. I can strip off my hoodie and use my extra jacket to cover the condenser coil to create head pressure. And I'm not going to let it run for a long period of time because they're probably already cold in there. I'm just going to let it run for a minute or two to make sure that it's up and going, and then we can move on after that. All right, that one's just going to hang out there for life. That is its life now. Poor guy. This one is going to go into the top of this contactor. Won't fit, so pretty easy fix. Just going to find our black, which is going to be this one, and we're going to wire nut it to this. So that's this guy right now. Cut and splice, cut and splice. Line 1. Make sure your disconnect's off when you do this. I know this one's off because I turned it off yesterday. Alright, that is toit. Yellow is going to be line 2, which is going to go to this yellow. So we'll nut that one. Cutting flies. That goes to the top of my capacitor, which I know. I got to replace the capacitor. I brought one. Since this is a higher horsepower motor, that capacitor is going to be a little beefier than the one that's in it. Yep. He said beefy. He said beefy, bro. And did I cut too many wires off of that? Oh, these capacitor wires are so tiny. I did cut too many. And we're going to take a little more length out of this thing. In other words, I cut its hair too much, okay? So we got some wires that were trimmed off that shouldn't have been. That's much better. She's thicker now. And then this one, get it right about meow. And then right about meow. Boom. Last wire nut. These are pretty tight, pretty secure. I'm not going to worry about taping them. They are not going to be going anywhere. Next thing is our capacitor. But what's a capacitor? Okay, capacitor, it's like a battery booster. Oh, I threw that in the box and it did not go in the box. It's like a battery booster. Think about it like a little battery. And there are start capacitors and there are run capacitors. Start capacitors do exactly what you think they do. They help the unit start. Help the motor start. Run capacitors, can you guess? I bet you can guess. Yeah, they help the unit run. The motor, they keep it running. With a little extra boost, a little more to keep it going. Anytime you change a motor, change capacitor. Whether that motor is a fan motor, compressor motor, change your capacitor. Now, capacitors do not exist in three-phase units. If they do, it's something I don't know of and never seen before. So I'm not going to say ever, because I'm not a never ever kind of guy. I am simply telling you my experiences. Three-phase motors do not require capacitors. They do not require any help starting. This is a single-phase motor. Now the compressor that you saw me replace is a three-phase compressor. It will not have a capacitor. The compressors in your home AC unit are single-phase. Typically 208, 240 volt. They will always require a capacitor, and that's why you see at your house you got the capacitors that don't look like this. They're round. They're called dual caps. That means that one set of leads is for your fan motor, the other set of leads is for your compressor. On the top of that capacitor you'll see C, which is common. Then you'll see fan, it'll actually say fan, and the other one says HERM, H-E-R-M. What does HERM mean? I know. HERM means hermetic. Now, I think it's interesting that they call it HERM for hermetic when at one point in time a lot of houses had semi-hermetic compressors. Now, typically you don't see that. That was many, many years ago. Maybe HERM started after that. I don't know. But I know it says HERM. It stands for hermetic. Hermetic means hermetically sealed. If you look back through my videos, you'll see me tear open a hermetically sealed compressor with a grinder and like 10 grinding wheels. It was a lot of grinding wheels, a lot of batteries, went through that grinder that day. But it was great. It was great. It was a grounded compressor. Dug around. Anyway, those don't seem to get the greatest views, but I'm considering doing the same thing with the compressor that I took out of this guy. So let me know what you think. Do you want to see a grounded compressor get torn open? Some people don't give a crap. I can tell, because like I said, when I do those, the views are like nil. Nobody wants to see that crap. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. If y'all think it's worth it, I will take it to the house and I will tear that thing up into lots of pieces. All the pieces. Okay. All right. We got that done. That done. This fed. Wires on. Dill's doing the thing. And the stuff's over here. We ready for fire? Let's bring on the fire. Bring the fire! Ha! That's beautiful. That is a thing of beauty. So this is what I was saying earlier. If it's cold outside, and it's easier to do this with a trash bag. But you take your jacket, throw it over the coil, and typically it's going to suck to the coil because, you know, the air is being sucked through the coil. This is going to increase our head pressure, and if you had gauges on it, you would be able to more easily be able to determine whether your charge is accurate or not, or you have an expansion issue or a flow issue of some sort. This is working beautifully fine. I want to make sure my blower's running beautifully fine. Coil could definitely use a cleaning. That's not what I'm here for. I mean, it's not restricted to the point that it's not going to work. If it was extremely restricted, your boy would be bringing a water hose up here, okay? She's moving air. I think we're going to lock this puppy up and call it a day. Finally, after 3 trips, diagnosis, compressor replacement, and contactor. Now the fan motor. Now we're good. That's all I got for you today, people. I gotta clean all this trash up. That's part of my day. Anyway, I never mentioned where I was at. I don't even know where I'm at. I'm in Dallas, Texas. That's where I'm at. I think that's I-35 right there. Anywho, that's all I'm gonna say. I hope that y'all enjoyed, and put the comment things if you want. I don't know. If you do it differently, tell me how you do it. If I screwed up, tell me how I screwed up. Just remember, you do it your way, and there's a lot of right ways to do something. It's however you want to do it. Until next time, people, deuces.